very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of the show. Promises to be exciting as always. I am Yemi Adebayo. On the show tonight, there's a lot to look at. There's a Lever Cup currently going on. There's a UEFA Nations League currently going on. The Super Eagles had a test game today. We'll talk about all of that, all for you. We'll also throw in boxing. What's happening with Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk, and maybe Deontay Wilder with those heavyweights in recent times. We'll talk about all of that. Usually, I don't do this alone. My partner, my colleague, Austin Okon Akpan is with me. And of course, we're going to be taking the trip together. Austin, greetings to you. Always good to take a trip across the money-spinning world of sports.
Spotted greetings to you, Yemi, and of course our viewers joining us from different parts of the world. Still an action-packed world of sports. People still talking about that Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Desert Foxes of Algeria friendly game. We'll talk about it extensively on the show tonight. We started yesterday and we'll not stop until that game will be played. You talked about the Lever Cup. Yemi, I got emotional today when I saw Roger Federer's tweet. He said he had walked that, when you're coming out to the court, said he has done this 1,000 times, but that this one feels so different. It's almost difficult, unbelievable that Roger Federer is saying goodbye to tennis.
All right. Almost unbelievable. All right, we also have Bolu Omoni with us. We're going to be taking this trip together, and also we hope that the other guys will come true for us as we attempt to look at everything that happened today, especially with the Super Eagles. So, Bolu, greetings to you. Thanks for being here today. Many things to choose from. Sporting events, many things to choose from. But what's your moment today? Austin already talked about, Roger Federer quoted some of the things Federer said. But for you, what's the high point of today?
Well, I think Austin is not where he is. I think he's here with us in the studio, and I think he stole my notes and he stole from my brain because it's all about Federer and thinking about Federer walking out for the last time and it's going to be game over. It's sweet to think of until it's happening. Then you feel, okay, this is likely going to be the last time I'll see him in a competitive game. He will still be playing what we call local balance.
Exhibition.
Proper competition, you will not see anything like that. And also, the games today. Many people are talking about the result. We still cannot beat on that. But me is what I wanted to see for a while. I'm seeing a bit of it. I remember when the NFF used to be like, we didn't play well, but they said, but we won. And now it's time to now go back to that. Well, you didn't win today. But one thing I've always said over time is in friendlies, either test match, competitive friendly, or whatever friendly, let's see a few changes. And I think I'm okay seeing that in this particular game against Algeria Team B.
All right, Bolu, you said you saw what you liked today. So I guess we'll just start with the Super Eagles. What are those things? We've always had this issue about calling players and not using them. And you seem to be quite satisfied with the fact that you saw a couple of changes. Were they injury-forced changes? Or you think the coach knew that it was time to start using these new options that he has?
I remember there was a time, I can't remember what day exactly, we had 2 friendly games and 2 competitions, and we had 5 goalkeepers in camp. And Yoro played only Maduka Okoye.
Yeah,
before he announced this was his coach, I said to you guys, this is Super Eagles' first choice. And he played almost everybody in those games. There was a time we played 2 games as well, and out of the old 25 more players we had on camp, I think only 15 or 16 played the 2 games. Then you say to yourself, why do we invite more players? And we can just invite maybe 18 players then and keep the money for it. But this game, we saw lots of guys some have never played before. Some have probably just had cameo appearances for Super Eagles. Yes, you can say it's a test game. You can say it's not even a proper friendly. But the truth is, many are saying if everyone was available, believe me, people were available. But I felt we needed to make a few changes. I think the game against the Algeria first team will probably have some more senior players. But at least he could have decided to play only the senior players today and say we must win at all costs. But he made some few changes, like Ralph Onyedika got into the team. Valentine was the one forgot to start for Super Eagles. A few players, I think, if you didn't see the game, I'm sure if their highlight is not out now, it should be out maybe later today or tomorrow. You can see 1 or 2 players. Friendlies are not perfect to judge players, but at least it's good to notice 1 or 2 things. So I think the change is good. Maybe not perfect because they didn't win, but the fact that they made 1, 2, 3 changes, I think it's good enough. That's what we want to see. If you're inviting 25 players, you have 2 games that are majorly friendlies. There's nothing wrong in trying out some French players. Friendly is not about winning all the time. Sometimes you need, I'm always particular about pattern. Let's see style. And one thing we've seen over the years, over the months, we don't say Pesero he likes playing two guys up front. If he's going with one, who and who does he think is perfect? If he's going with two, who is perfect? Is it coming from the wings? Is it going from the middle? So it's too early to judge because we've not had many competitive games. But at least to an extent, you can say there is a touch of Jose Pesero in the Super Eagles team.
All right. So you talk about seeing some of the things you like. Do you think the approach for Tuesday should be different from what you've seen today?
I think it's definitely going to be different. Like I said, some of the French players got to start today. Against Algeria, where we will likely face, they are not even likely to be their first team. We don't know who will play, but you should expect the likes of Riyad Mahrez and co. It's for pride. Algeria are among the top teams in Africa. They won the AFCON before this last one that they didn't win. So they are a champion. They are a proper team. If you are ranking the best teams on the African scene in the last few years, Algeria are there. So I think that's going to be a battle for pride. So you should expect all the key players to feature. And from what we know, I don't think anyone can beat the chest that this is Super Eagles' first choice goalkeeper. We don't know if it's Uzor, we don't know if it's Okoye. That's competition. So you know that when you are coming, you need to give your A game, you need to give your best. So I think so far so good. The game against Algeria, the approach will be completely different. Don't even be surprised if it's a different formation entirely. Now I like that you can't easily predict this is what you see in Super Eagles. Again, it's too early, yes, but at least as of now, you can't confidently say this is Super Eagles. You can't confidently say A, B, and C will start. It's good for competition. So you won't be like when they invite me, even if I come the day of the game, I'm going to play. No, because you know you are coming to fight for a place in the team.
All right, that's good to hear. Let's just see if we can quickly show our viewers the result of today's game. I'm very sure you're wondering what this guy is talking about. Well, Nigeria, Algeria played a game today. At the end of the day, it was 2 goals apiece. Nigeria 2, Algeria B squad 2. And of course, Bolu Omoni and quite a lot of Nigerians have credited the coach for being able to use some of those players who have been in and around the squad got the opportunity to play, and that's what we've been clamoring for. All right, let me quickly go back to Austin. By the way, the Super Eagles media officer, Babafemi Raji, is also with us. But let me just quickly get to Austin and get his thoughts. You've been listening to Bolu, and in a way, I'm very happy that from it, getting somebody's perspective about the game, and it tallies with what I have. It's good that, look, we're not having situations where you invite a lot of players, you don't use them. And I don't know if you're pleased as we are. The result for me is not what really matters, but the fact that guys that you just want to see, some of them got the opportunity to play.
Yeah, you know, I've been talking about it, Yemi. I also have that stance that there's some players personally I'd like to see. Kevin Akpoguma, I've been telling you yesterday. Topher mentioned Xavier Godwin. That's another player I would like to see more of him. Terry Murphy, Cyril Destas, you know, and some players here and there. You know, with friendly games as these, it is for the coaches to, you know their squad, you know, try to build up some more team understanding, get some bonding going, see how they can achieve some level of blend. And I'm sure they did that today against the B side. So what will happen on Tuesday is Jose Pizarro will try to, you know, get it going. But let me not talk much. Let me bring in Super Eagles media officer Babafemi Raji. He's right there with the players. He knows what's going on. Babafemi Raji, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much, Austin. How you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
So lately, Jose Pizarro has been talking about objectives. So the Super Eagles played the Algerian B side today. They didn't meet the objectives.
Well, I don't know what you understand by meeting the objectives, but the fact is we had a test game today, and indeed it was a test game from the way we started the game. And I think a lot of positives have been taken from every game after game. Remember, the ultimate goal is to win the AFCON. The objective of this crop of players and the technical crew, the entire team, is to win the next AFCON. And are we on course? Yes. This was another step towards it. Playing the B team just to, you know, check out some players. We'll play the main team on Tuesday. Of course, that's a prestige friendly as well. We want to win that game too, like Coach Pesero said, and then look forward to playing Portugal in November again in Lisbon. So we're on course. We are very much on course.
I'm glad they're on course, and you just mentioned a prestige-friendly. Babafemi, that's getting a lot of conversations going on the street when you meet football followers. Algeria didn't qualify for the World Cup. Nigeria didn't qualify. Does that take any form of significance out of that Tuesday's game?
No, it doesn't. In fact, it's a very important game because imagine that Africa having 10 slots. Would you tell me an Algeria and Nigeria will miss out from the World Cup? So I'm just trying to let you know that these are superpowers when it comes to African football. Algeria won the Cup of Nations just 3 years ago in 2019, and were just deposed last year by Senegal, who are through to the AFCON. With teams kicked Algeria out. It was a powerful Senegalese side, so it doesn't take away the significance of the friendly. It's a prestige friendly. It's a big game. These are top two teams on the African continent going toe to toe. And of course, the world will want to see that kind of game. These are the kind of teams every other team out there wants to play. So the significance is very much there. It is a big friendly game between two top African sides.
My colleague Yemi is in Lagos. He's standing by, so very soon I'll be handing over to him. But let's talk about the friendly against the B team. We talked about some players I want to see in the squad that Jose Pizarro tried today. Did he have a good experimentation with some of the guys he played?
Well, definitely we all experienced it. We had the likes of Ralph Mwadike, who started the game today. Had a wonderful game as well. We had Ebube Duru, played well. All the guys, they all played well. And of course, the second half, we had Adile Adebayo, the goalkeeper, come on board the game, was able to show what he could do, made saves. So I think it was a good one. The coach was happy. Above all, they were able to understand the philosophy of the coach. The philosophy is pressure, intense game. Intense pressure, and more pressure. And whether we like it or not, we witnessed that. After going one goal down, it was just anybody makes mistakes. There's just a cheeky mistake. And then the team bounced back and then hit 1-2. We were 2 goals up before the penalty. And then we considered the penalty and then it was converted by the Algerians. Otherwise, it would have been, but we're not looking at that. It was a test game. And the boys enjoyed themselves. What the coach told them before the game was, go and play good football and enjoy yourself. There's no other thing to tell the player than say, go and enjoy good football. Because in training, the basics have been done. So go and put into practice what you want to do. Don't be stiff, be expressive. And indeed, they were very, very expressive on the field of play.
All right. Once again, Baba Femi, thanks for joining us. Yemi from Lagos. Let me just chip this in. I know you're very busy, so we can let you go. But let me just say this quickly. Joseph Pizarro has been talking about his ultimate aim, and you hinted as well in your opener, talking about wanting to win the next AFCON, which is a very bold prediction, I must say. But do you think, you understand his mindset more than most of us, you're close to the team, do you think he already has his team, or along the way there's still going to be a lot of changes, chip and chop, as we try to, get our place in the Nations Cup and possibly win?
From what we've observed so far, there's a core in the team. In every setting, there will always be a core. There's a core. And the core will drive your football philosophy. And then once in a while, because you want to adjust and adapt, you have a little few, you just, fine-tune, auxiliary, pull out, plug in, pull out, plug in. But they still achieve the same goal. The common goal is to win matches. Every member of the team, they have the same mentality, which is to win games. Positive mentality. It's already embedded in everybody's chip. It's a microchip, invisible, embedded in everybody's system that we need to win every match we play. And then the ultimate goal is to win the AFCON. So definitely, we're very much on course. The coach has already laid that straight. The players understand this, and he has the core, he has the players. He said something, he said one of the reasons why he believes now that he will win the AFCON is, before then he was outside. He was just observing the team. Now that he's inside, he has seen the depth in quality and in quantity. And that's why he's so convinced that Nigeria will win the next AFCON. Can we win the next AFCON? We will win the next AFCON.
Oh, okay. All right. I know you know that this is a recorded show. Probably played back some other time. But before we let you go, talking about competition in the team, talking about hunger, that's what a lot of people have talked about wanting to see. Are we beginning to see that in the Super Eagles?
Definitely. Of course, we've seen different players from different positions. When you talk about your left back, you see Zaidu Sanusi, you see Ibubedulu play today from left back, you have Calvin Bassi. Even when you talk about the center of the defense, you talk about the same, a lot of players, the defensive midfield position, you have players just there. Every wing has 2, 3. And perhaps that's why any coach will be excited to take up the Nigerian job. And definitely there's enough competition. And that's what is keeping one of the tools, ingredients that makes us believe that with this healthy competition, we have the right materials to drive that force in which we want to use to win games and then win trophies.
All right, let me just before we get Babafemi Raji to go, because I love this optimism that he's giving us on the show, particularly bold statements that we can go on to win the next AFCON. Babafemi Raji, is this Super Eagles team under any form of pressure to impress?
No, we're not. Normally, the pressure that will come will be self-induced pressure, because when you know you work real hard and you know the expectation to be, I've worked this hard, and just like going for exams, I've worked hard, I've burned candles, or these days is rechargeable lamp, I've burned rechargeable lamp, and then I need to do well in the exams. The pressure comes from you. You're not thinking of external factors anymore. The pressure is within, and the pressure is well managed. It's a healthy pressure. It's not the kind of pressure that is that you need to take meds for. It's the kind of pressure that is helping you. There's headache for the coaches. And what's headache? Very good headache in terms of selection, how to tweak the formation. Good one. We don't lack talent. We don't lack technique. We don't lack resources. We have it all. So it's just about harnessing all these qualities to achieve the goal, the ultimate goal, which is to win tournament.
Let's provide some clarity as regards Wilfred Ndidi's injury, because the media is burning with different views. Oh, that Jose Pizarro wanted to play him in defense, and because he doesn't like that, next thing is back in England. And then we hear Jose Pizarro saying he's injured. What's the state of things with Wilfred Ndidi?
There can only be one truth, and the truth is what comes out from the team. Wilfred Ndidi, like the coach explained, and which is the truth. And I had a slight pain around the hamstring. Before then, the medical team from Leicester had been communicating with the medical team here in the Super Eagles. And then after the first training, he noticed that kind of, he was not comfortable with it. And then went for an MRI. The result came, and okay, it's time, after discussions, both ends, it's time to go. He had to leave so that they don't aggravate things. Really, I think that was a malicious concussion from anyone that would have come up with such. But we all know Wilfred is one of the, when you talk about level-headed, cool-headed players, that's Wilfred. Couldn't have, I don't know. I don't know what was the intention behind that. And of course, later today, let me give you something that happened later today. At lunchtime, Coach Pesero came and then was congratulating members of the of the medical team led by Dr. Ibrahim Gyaran. And then the physio said, thanks guys. I got the report from the Leicester team. They said you guys give them a good report. It means there's been synergy, communication between both clubs. The coach has used this cloud to build relationship with the club side, the medical team of all these clubs, these players apply their trade. So we were all shocked when we saw this, and for me, I was disappointed. Because I know you, Austin, you are a thorough professional. You will not churn out, your medium will never churn out stories without verification. And I felt so, I was sad. Whoever did that, I was sad. And we forgive him. And we just say, go and sin no more. Let's just say,
that's why we have you to clarify these issues. Thank you so much. Babafemi Raji, give our love and best wishes to the team. All the best on Tuesday. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's it. Let's go on this quick break. When we come back, an Algerian sports journalist will join us. We want to find out, how is Algeria taking this friendly? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Didi, okay, when he come, I give one relationship with all the staff, our players. The fitness coach from Leicester sent for our fitness coach a message that guy, we have that connection with them. That he complained in the last match. He come, he did a training without intensity, he did a small training but with conditioning, but he feels something in the hamstring. He did one MRI yesterday. I think it's better don't use them. Okay, it's possible, it's not danger, but I don't go to use one player in a friendly match if he can get more injured, for that he come back to Leicester today. Algeria is a good team, good national team. Of course, our goal is win the next AFCON, but for that you need to create one way. Okay, in the training, in the game also. You need to create the habit to win. Of course, is the main point. Okay, you come here for know the players, introduce other structure, introduce some tactic works, introduce other situation or dynamics. Is the key point. But the same time, you want to win because you must create that habit to win. Is this decisive? No. Okay, because you have all the players. Even you can change the structure for test the structure. If you play with the official match, it's possible don't play that structure or change. But now we have that possibility. But every time you want to win, every time, because Nigerian national team belong to the best national team in the Africa.
All right, welcome back. I guess all the noise about Wilfred Ndidi, everything has been laid to rest. We can focus on the football. As you can see, we're still here. Austin Kodakman is still here. Bolo Money is still here. And we just can't stop talking about the Super Eagles. And we also have someone who will be joining us very soon. But before I go to Austin to lead us into that, Bolu, the swiftness of the technical crew to, and the media department of the Super Eagles to quickly dispel that rumor. I think it's good for the team so that it doesn't distract from what is the main purpose of the team.
Well, indeed, he said one thing he replied on Twitter, he replied on Instagram. Then the Instagram one was very key when he said, this is one of the reasons why I don't grant you interviews. Sometimes controversies are easy to spread and people tend to believe that controversy than the truth. Like one of the things we learned even in our industry is you pick the facts from both sides and let the people be the judge. You don't conclude. There
must always be a balance.
There has to be, except you have a fact that you are 101% sure this is a fact. If not, in some Senate claims, you can be sued for probably propagating false information. I'm not saying he's lying. I'm not saying he's saying the truth. But you came out that my source. That's a lingo of another term, another country. If you don't have, what is your source? Who is your source? Because your source could have got you in trouble. And I like that they came out and debunked the story immediately. Baba Femi Raji just did the same thing. The coach has spoken about it. I think as much as, even if you think they are lying, if you have no fact to say they are lying, then I believe the source. Because at least I'm sure of this source. If I tell you, like, Yemi, it's a lie, it is truly injured. If you ask me who is my source, I can easily coach Jose Pesero, the coach of the team. I can easily coach Femi Raji, the media manager of the team. But if I ask you who is your source, and you say your source is anonymous, I think I'd rather not believe what you say from your source. So I think, and again, I think it will make no sense to want to play in as a central defender based on the players we have. We have like 5 central defenders in the team. Why would I want to play in it? So I think I don't believe that story.
Yeah, I think we just let Sleeping Dog lie. That was unnecessary distraction. We should focus on building a team. I actually don't know if we're building a team or we have a team, but that's an issue for another day. But I like the confidence oozing out of the comments made by the media officer of the Super Eagles. And that's why I reminded him that this program is recorded, can play it back. We'll do our job as journalists. So awesome. I mean, let's get back to you. What are your expectations from Tuesday?
Better play. I think they should show more purpose. They should show that they are progressing as a team. They should be able to play beautiful football. At the end of the day, if we call it a prestige-friendly Algeria, Nigeria should give us the sort of football that we can, actually describe it as a prestige-friendly. I think I want to see more cohesion, more hunger in the Super Eagles team. more coordination. They should be purpose-driven. They should understand that they have a lot of redemption song to sing to the fans of the Super Eagles. Come out and play the sort of football that will make us say, yes, these guys are really sad that they won't be at the World Cup and they're doing all they can to improve. Toffel rounded it up properly yesterday by saying who is not ready to fight for this team has no business to be in this Super Eagles team. And I think we've reached that level now because most of these guys might not be around for the next World Cup. So they should be able to put a team in place so we can have a proper transition to the next set of Super Eagles players that will do bigger things for the country. But let's try to balance the conversation because we've been talking about the Super Eagles. Let's get the Algerian side of things. Maha Mezahi is an Algerian sports journalist. This is in Marseille, France. And Maha Zemai, welcome to Sports Tonight.
Thanks for having me on.
Good to have you on the show. And I must say that Algeria and Nigeria were kind of like in the same situation, but I don't know. You tell me whose situation is better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are two African footballing powerhouses that expect to be in Qatar. I thought they were both impressive in the years leading up to the World Cup qualifiers. Nigeria had a fantastic young team with great young talent like Victor Osimhen, Alex Iwobi. We know all the names, Samuel Chukwueze, et cetera, et cetera. And same thing with Algeria. They were the 2019 AFCON champions. But those African World Cup qualifying playoffs were so tight. Obviously, Nigeria ended up missing out just on a goalkeeping error, and Algeria, with a last-minute goal, Cameroon ended up scoring Karl Tokwe Kambi. So the fact that there's only 5 spots for the whole continent, I think that makes it very difficult. Even if we had qualified, teams like Ghana or Cameroon would have missed out. So it's 50-50.
I know. Let's talk about this friendly on Tuesday. You listened to the Super Eagles media officer. He described it as a prestige friendly. Do you agree?
100%. So one thing that your audience might not know is that this match will take place in Oran. Oran is 4 hours west of Algiers, 400 kilometers west of Algiers, near the Moroccan border. And in the stadium that they'll be playing in is brand new. It's called the Oran Olympic Stadium. It holds 40,000. It's an Olympic stadium complex, and the national team is playing their matches over there because they want to take the national team all around the country so that different Algerians can enjoy this national team. So they really wanted a great opponent. There were talks of maybe even hosting Brazil for this match, and they managed to get the Super Eagles. So this is a prestige friendly from the Algerian side. And I can even tell you that Algeria is currently playing Guinea at the moment, but they're resting their superstar players like Riyad Mahrez for the Nigeria match.
Is Algeria under any form of pressure to impress? Particularly, you won the AFCON in 2019. Then we saw an almost abysmal performance at the AFCON in Cameroon, and now they failed to qualify for the World Cup. Tell me how much pressure are the Desert Foxes suffering right now?
So I'll tell you this. The coach is extremely popular. The coach is the same coach that won the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. Mm-hmm. And it's not like he's on the hot seat for his job. However, there is a very clear understanding that he's probably going to be here for 15 more months until the next Africa Cup of Nations in the Ivory Coast. And that these next 15 months, they're going to have to find the right 11, and there's going to have to be a regeneration of the side. Because a lot of these older players that we're talking about, Islam Slimani, Riyad Mahrez, Youssef Belaili, they're not going to be here for 3-4 years. But it's all about adding the ingredients and getting the recipe correct for the next 15 months so this team can be at the peak of their powers in the Ivory Coast.
Yeah, my colleague is in Lagos, Yemi Adebayo. He will be talking to you now. Yemi, over to you.
Thanks, Maha, for joining us. I'm interested in asking you, are the fans really disappointed with Algeria? Because aside not qualifying for the World Cup and maybe the Nations Cup, prior to that, they were doing so well. They even won the Arab World Cup. Very solid team. And do you think that disappointment still lingers on and the fans have forgotten the success of the recent past?
Oh, 100% it still lingers on. And I feel like it's the same thing with Nigeria. You know, these days, as the World Cup preparations are beginning to unfold and teams are getting ready to go to Qatar, we feel it even more. We want to be there. We want to have our flag hoisted up there. And as you mentioned, Algeria had been on a 35-match unbeaten streak following the Africa Cup of Nations. That's actually second of all time all around the world. It's an incredible record that the team was on. And it all fell apart at the Africa Cup of Nations, losing to the likes of Equatorial Guinea, drawing with Sierra Leone, who Nigeria knows can be a tricky side at times. But they still felt good going into the World Cup qualifying. In that first leg in Cameroon, they beat the indomitable Lions in Douala, which is extremely difficult, and it all fell apart with the last-minute goal. So a lot of disappointment, but still a lot of confidence in this coach and in the squad of players.
All right. Do you think that, I mean, I know we're talking about a friendly, but I'm tempted to ask about the Algerian team. Do you think there's going to be an overhaul in the present? I mean, you talked about these guys not being around for the next 3-4 years, but in the next 18 months, do you think the coach will attempt to overhaul the squad, or we're still going to see the usual guys, do the job?
So what I can tell you is that you are asking the most pertinent question that is in the conversation in Algeria at the moment. Everybody, if there's one criticism against this coach, Jamal Belmadi, who's been put on the same rank as an Aliou Cissé or as let's say a Benny McCarthy in terms of young African coaches that are really doing very, very well on the continent, Walid Regragui, Morocco's coach. But if there's been one criticism, it's that he hasn't been able to regenerate the side. He's stuck with almost the same starting 11 that won the 2019 Cup of Nations until the World Cup elimination. So now the big question is, will he be able to inject new blood into the side leading into the AFCON? Honestly, I don't have the answer to that question yet. But I do think that some of the older players will be phased out, especially goalkeeping and defense. But he'll still hold on to some of the leaders like Islam Slimani or Riyad Mahrez.
And before I, give it back to my colleague, for the average Algerian fan, what kind of result will be acceptable on Tuesday against the Super Eagles of Nigeria?
There's a lot of respect for the Nigerian national team. We have many tussles in the past leading into the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. Everybody knows that Nigeria are one of the strongest sides on the continent, the most population on the continent, fantastic jerseys, whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of respect for Nigeria. But one thing, there's always an expectation with the Algerian national team. We're not going to lose matches at home. It's a very, very, very rare occurrence. So I can tell you that if they lose to the Super Eagles, I think that they're going to be disappointed. But a draw or a win, as long as they play good football, would be acceptable.
Now, speak to us as a football fan. You're not Algerian, you're not Nigerian. What sort of friendly do you want to see?
Yeah, obviously, as many football fans want to see, I want to see attacking, free-flowing football. I want to see young, exciting players. Victor Osimhen has a lot of fans in Algeria. I can tell you that. We would love to see players like him. I know Ndidi went home, but we love Wilfred Ndidi as well. These are players that we see in the Premier League and the Serie A. And these friendlies are also great occasions to see players that you don't often see. I mean, we see these players at the Cup of Nations, but not in front of your faces. So when you're in the stadium, you would love to see players like this live. And obviously, free-flowing football, some kind of, a 2-2, a 3-2, some kind of scoreline like that, I think would really be a great thing to see. And I'm also curious to see if this new coach, Jose Peseiro, I didn't get a good chance to take a good look at his tactics and him with this new side. Is he the answer? I know there were rumors that he was going to take over the Super Eagles after the Africa Cup of Nations. That wasn't the case, but we're curious to see, is he the answer? Can he lead Nigeria to the promised land? So all of these things I'm kind of watching in my mind.
Let me tell you this, it's going to end Nigeria 3. How about that? It's fair enough.
We'll see, my friend.
Thank you so much, Maha, for your time. Always a delight. I'm going to do this with you some other time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, and big welcome to all the Nigerians that are going to be in Oran on Tuesday or Wednesday.
So that's it, Algerian sports journalist Maha Amazahi speaking to us from Marseille, France. Let me hand it straight up to Bolu. Bolu, I thought I was being fair. Nigeria 3, Algeria 1. Come on.
Well, to an extent, you can want to agree, but he talked about having a 2-2 draw, 3-2, and sometimes some goalless draws can be very, very exciting. We've seen some goalless draws even more entertaining, more exciting than, like he also attested to. Let's just see free-flowing football, not route one, all balls to the attacking guys, run a... No, let's enjoy our game. At least, despite poor results in recent times for Algeria, they are still enjoying their games. You can easily still pick out this is how they play. We are beginning to see. Now we are seeing the big boys in quotes on Tuesday. So what do you see how the Super Eagles will play? When last did we see, all these A's and boos in the game that has to be with Nigeria? See flair, see free-flowing, not dribble to throw in, not pass the goal kick or corner kick or the byline. We want to see performance.
Bolu, there's this question I've always wanted to ask, and I'm going to ask you. Austin is listening. I'm sure he's going to pitch in. When you listen to a lot of people, there are 3 things people seem to agree on. That if we have those 3 things in this current squad of the Eagles, we'll probably be unbeatable. I don't see anybody complain about the attack. We have a lot of good players. In the midfield, creativity. Whichever way the coach does it, I don't know how he's going to do it, the player combination, ball-playing centre-backs. You know, players that don't just kick the ball at the slightest sight of an opponent, and a keeper, a goalkeeper that inspires confidence. Maybe in the mode of Peter Rufai, Vincent Enyama, to a certain extent, Ikesho. If we have that, a lot of people believe that, then the Super Eagles will be a formidable force.
As of now, I say it all the time, I think we have, if not the best squad, or people mistake the best squad with the best team. I think we have the best squad. Like you rightly said, even Maha rightly said, look, especially in the attack, you can't have Osimhen, Awoniyi, Sadiq Kumar, and the like, Cyril Desas, Kelechi Iheanacho, Dennis Bonaventure, Emmanuel in the squad.
So no problem.
Terry Murphy is, as of now, I think the third highest scorer in the French league. So in the attack, we don't have enough. We have more than enough. In defense, I talked about we having 5-7. There's in our team, Kenneth Omero, Kevin Basu can play central or play on the left. There's a Kevin Akpoguma. There's Leon Balogun, who is a ball-playing defender. There's William Troost-Ekong. On the right, Olaina can play either or. There's Tyrone Eboye, who I'm not even thinking of anymore. Awazen can play there. On the left, there's Zaidu Sanusi as well. Olaina can fit in there. Talked about the Bubidajo. So talent is not a problem. I think the number one thing, first of all, we need to fix is that goalkeeper. All our goalkeepers are, to me, below average. I think I have my favorite among all of them. But even being a favorite is like 40 to 35. You are still all average and the like, but we have midfielders, but I think we need that creativity in the midfield.
We have to resist the temptation to make this show a Super Eagles show. We have to move on. All right, Austin, let's just get into this. Let's talk about the NFF elections. That's our next port of call. And a lot of people are saying to be or not to be. And of course, there was a presidential debate in Abuja. Let me allow Austin to talk about that. We have probably just roughly 10 minutes, so we have to touch up on a lot of things. But Austin, let me pass the ball to you. Some aspirants, I mean, letting the people know what they will do or what they intend to do if they get a chance to lead Nigerian football.
I love that they're beginning to, come together and talk. So right there, Christian Omerua, who has unveiled his campaign for NFF presidency, and the FCT FA chairman, Adam Mohammed. They just, okay, let's talk to the people. Let's let them know our plans for the development of football in Nigeria, the aspirants for the NFF presidency. You know what? Let's go to Abuja, listen to them. They had a debate. Who is the better man for the job? We'll be right back.
Change the way we are doing things currently. As we speak today in Nigeria, if a child wants to play football as a professional, there's nowhere that child can go and register and be trained in the art of playing football. And as such, we need to go back to the grassroots to see how we can activate this process. So I would want to see a situation whereby, one, I would have to partner with existing structures that has to do with institutional sports, for example, where we have USPON, we have NUGA, we have NIPOGA, we have NASEGA. Nigerian Football Federation should be seen to partner with these bodies and take the responsibility of organizing their football components in their competitions. We also want to go and establish what is called Community Football Development Program. And this, for me, is to adopt a school in a local government, get coaches within the local football councils that are trained. And their job basically will be every Saturday to be available to train children who want to play football. And we also have an issue that we have to deal with, basically, if you ask me, when it comes to the organization of our football around the leagues. As I've said severally, that those who are currently organizing our various league games across Nigeria are the state football associations supporting the various leagues to deliver the games. And the people who are actually the drivers are the state football secretaries. And I stand to be corrected because I've said this severally, that in the last 30 years, these guys have not been trained in any contemporary football organization.
What I think is we've had too much of talk, no action. And we've had people who had no business being in football being there. Why do I say that? Football is a business. And if I put a question to you, do you even know the name of the FA president of England? I don't think you know. Because the main actors are the players and the coaches and the media. Because it's a chain. If you look at the Premier League, for example, the media is number one. They pay the broadcast rights to the teams, and the teams pay the players the salaries, and the fans pay money to the clubs. So it's a linkage, and we don't seem to understand that in Nigeria. Every day you have people who want to go and collect money from either sponsors or government. But what is the value you're giving to whoever you want to collect money from? I ask this question. So I think that what Nigerian football needs is a reset, and then a person who has done it. And that's what I keep saying. I'm not promising I'm going to do it. I've done it in the FCT on a micro level, and the FCT is the center of all, the center of Nigeria. So I understand what needs to be done, and these basic things that we've done are the things that will return Nigeria to its past glory or even surpass it. Let's always use facts and data when we're speaking.
So there you have it, the FCT chairman Adam Mohammed at that debate that was done in Abuja. Christian Omero also talking about some of the things he hopes to do when he becomes NFF president. Bolu, in a minute, just round this up for us. I like this. They're talking about what they can do, but I think it should be, less talk and more action.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. And anytime I remember Austin, I always remember Austin saying, don't just talk the talk, always walk the talk. And it's a very, very key thing. It's good they're telling us what they hope to achieve. Election is expected, let me put it that way, is expected to come next week Friday.
That's the best way to put it.
Hopefully it happens, then after that we can start making judgments from whoever wins. Now it's good, talking is cheap, it's action that really matters. So let's hope it happens next week, because despite the court order, there are reports that election can still go on. That's what we want. We don't want any postponement, we don't want any adjournment. When the election kicks off from August the 1st, we can now start making our judgments.
And I hope the next administration will not spend 4 years in courts. I just hope that's not the case. All right, we got to move on. Two things before we close the show. The FA, the English Football Association, has charged Cristiano Ronaldo for an incident that happened last season. And off camera, why did they wait this long? I'm trying. There might be reasons I don't understand at this present moment. But how did it come off to you, especially when the police left him off the hook?
I think it's more like they just fell to the pressure. Remember, the mom of the little boy kept on hammering on the issue every time. Today, Grant interview Ronaldo is this. Tomorrow, Grant interview Ronaldo is bad. So I think it's just more like, oh, we've done what you want. Yes, take it. Because I remember he's been free of all charges, apologized. I think instead he was going to get him another phone, invite him to games and everything. The mom just maybe needed attention for everything. So she's gotten what she wanted. Hopefully after all this, but the question like Gregory asked, why wait till now for a charge? So it feels like let's charge him. We've charged him. That's what. But sometimes when you hear some charges financially, you're like, what's going on? Like Atletico were charged 250 euros. Like, what are you doing?
What's going on there?
So at least it's good that they make the final decision at the end. So I think we'll move on from there.
All right, Austin is smiling. I'm very sure there's something funny he wants to say. Why did he wait this long?
And they have to do proper investigation, and try to take away emotions and biases away from it. Ronaldo does not get to smash your phone, all the time. So when it happens, if Ronaldo smashes my phone, even if they buy me the latest phone, I'll still go to court and say it took off my dad's or my mom's number and I can't find it again. So it's just drama because it's Cristiano Ronaldo. But as Bolo said, we're glad that Now they've given him the charge, and hopefully this will get out of the way. But you know what it means? When you're a superstar, you must behave all the time. And there was another one that happened recently. Someone was trying to take a picture with him, and I think he tried to stop him, and he just walked away. And sometimes we don't understand that when these players don't win, they're also humans. They feel it. So fans try to stop them. They want autographs. They want to take pictures. Just wait, maybe 2 years from now, that's one now that happened last week will come up again.
All right, let's quickly do this and leave the studio before we get thrown out. UEFA Nations League, that's our last port of call. Let's reel out the results. And Bolu will give us the full-time results in some of the games. Germany and Hungary. Hungary is leading this group, and it's no joke. They're leading in a group that has England, has Italy, and has Germany. They are leading. and no surprise, they go to Germany, beat Germany. Italy and England, we thought England were going to win. Of course, they haven't. Bosnia-Herzegovina and Montenegro, Bosnia winning that. Finland, Romania, 1-1. Georgia, North Macedonia, Georgia 2-0 have won that. Bulgaria hammering Gibraltar 5-1. Estonia and Malta 2-1. I guess most of these results are the full-time scores. Quick one, Bolu, before we go.
The most interesting thing now is, even if England wins 100-0 in their next game, they'll be relegated to League B. Remember, the UEFA Nations League is about the last team in the group get relegated. Luckily, Germany are supposed to be League B. They relegated the last time, but they adjusted the calendar, made it 4 teams instead of 4. So they survived. Now, England have 2 points from 5. The closest to them is 6 points. So no matter what happens in the next game, they'll be relegated. Like you already said, Hungary topping the group with 10 points. That's weird, but that's in League A, and others are from the lower leagues. There's League B, where Bosnia-Herzegovina beats Montenegro 1-0. Finland 1-1 with Romania. League C, Group 4, there's Georgia 2. People, I think, are now getting interested in this UEFA. Maybe I loved it from the onset because I read about it well. I took my time to understand the games well. Now, Wales were complaining about we are playing Belgium.
You know what? I wish we had time, but we got to go. We got to go. Let's go to Austin. Austin, we got to go. I wanted you to say something about England. Looks like they're going to be going down, but we have to go.
We have to go. England hopefully will not go down. But I love the format of the UEFA Nations League and that it's getting teams in Europe busy. That's the show. I had fun talking sports with you guys from Algeria to Nigeria to the NFF elections. And of course, making sure that nobody's phones got smashed on the show. That's it in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right. Of course, that's the show today. Before I go, let me thank Bolu Omoni for his time on the show today. Hopefully we'll do this again some other time.
Definitely.
All right. That's the show today, the last one for the week. We hope we made it worth your while. You'll see us again next week when we take you on a trip across the money spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.